What's the deal, my people? You know what is it? Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you. Another one, and this one is the Changeling episode number motherfucking 5. We're gonna break it down, deep dive into it. We're gonna talk about everything you want to talk about in this show, and I'm going to take your phone calls, and you're going to be able to ask me, the Don Tony Teflon, any question you want, or put your theories out there. We want to hear from you. You know what I mean? I want to thank everybody who's here rocking with us, everybody who, new people who have just gotten here and everything else, and all the people who rock with the Don Tony Teflon. And if you're looking for the number to call in, it is on the crawl on the bottom, and also the Cash App is there, $ Tony Teflon 545. If you can become a member, subscribe, hit that like button. Let's do all those things. Any one of those things that you can do, let's get that done. All right. Let's say what up to the people who are here rocking with us right before we get into this. Got John Haymaker up in the building rocking with us. Channel member Lady Ace is in the building rocking with us. Miss T is up in the building rocking with us. Channel member Fred Grace is in the building. Cool Gamer is up in here. Amanda is the shiznit is in the building rocking with us. George is up in this. Jorge, sorry, it's up in here rocking with us. Luna, love good. Does she love good? All right. It's up in this building. She does the most. It's up in here. I can't say your name, so man. YS is in the building rocking with us right here and everything. I appreciate you saying that and rocking. We try to do what we do here. Nisha is in the building rocking with us right now. We got a bunch of people in here. We'll go through some more real quick. Nina is in the building rocking with us right now. T is up in here rocking with us. She-Cell is in here. Brittany Holland is in here. Marquise is in the building. Sylv is in the building. 35 is up in the building. Everybody, thank you all for coming out here, rocking with the Don Tony Teflon. We truly appreciate it. You know what I mean? I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? That you came out here. Only that you can be anywhere in the world, but right now you hear me, especially with football going on. I want to try to do this every Monday. We'll set the date as Monday, same time and everything else every week. So that way you know exactly when it's going down and when we can rock this. I know it was a different day last week, but it was a different type of Monday. But for now, we'll rock it on Monday and everything else. I was thinking about Sunday night, but, we'll do Monday. We'll do Monday. If it works for everybody, we'll do Monday. I don't know how many episodes this show is. If it's 10 or 8, it's one of them, I'm sure, but we have no idea. But in dealing with this episode 5, let's go through it real quick. And then we'll go into all theories. And if you got any, put them in the comment section, all that good stuff and everything else. Super chats, cut the line, of course. So when dealing with this episode, I know a lot of people may say it was a little bit slow of an episode. I don't think so. We did get some reveals, right? So we got the reveal of the man inside the cage. He was sitting there, right? That he was in there. Rocked it, went down there with him and everything else, and all of a sudden, dude in the cage, he gave his name as Kindergarten. Now, if you you rock with the Don Tony Teflon, you already knew that was him, right? Because I told you that in the video. I told you that he used the exact same emblem as his chain that was around his neck when he got kicked out for his avatar, right? So we knew that was. Told you that was Kindergarten. Told you that was him, and he was trolling. But we also got confirmation from this that it has no choice, 100%. It has to be him and his people that are taking these pictures and sending messages, because we see that when she's going around and she first contacts Emma, when Emma first contacts the witches and stuff, Cal, that she gets the text message, right off the back, it says, don't talk to witches. So whoever has this ability, they are able to be in all in your DMs, they all up in them. They're watching you. Like they somehow can clone your computer and they can see everything that you're doing and in your telephone. So he said he had a bunch of friends that had technology. So that's what it is. But I don't think it's just them. I don't think it's just him. I think that, and I don't think this has anything to do with magic. I just think that these people are out there trying to save these changeling babies. It seems like they're trying to prevent these witches from killing off these changeling babies. And what does that mean? Who would do that, and why would they do that? You know what I mean? That is what we have to really ask ourselves. What up to my man KP in the building, rocking with us right off the bat? You know what I mean? Yeah, John Haymaker, the baby's morphing trip. Yeah, yeah. When we seen the morphing of the baby, it wasn't instant. It was when she specifically said and told the baby that I know you're not my baby. I love my baby. That's when the baby all of a sudden got mean. And when he bit her this time, and he bit her right to the blood coming out of her. And there was no teeth on that baby that I see. So that these are some powerful ass gums on that baby. And to bite someone until it bleeds is not an easy thing to do. But that is when it started doing the change. And then when you heard like the laugh of the baby when it was laughing, that was a very evil laugh. Like why is these changeling babies so evil? Is that what they're trying to say, that these babies are all evil? Because you're not really in a position as a baby to be evil like that, because you could easily get killed. Like it's not like you can fight this chick. Why provoke her to that point when you're gonna bite her and then laugh at her with that evil ass laugh? You know what I mean? But this didn't make no sense. Like you need to just be cool, baby. You need to just you get Bernie Mac on your ass, baby, and hit that baby with a goddamn hammer for jumping on my couch. Yeah, watch yourself. And that's probably what happened to the baby. In the end, she channeled her Bernie Mac in there and everything. 214 Beans says that the closed caption referred to the baby as a changeling. So we know, so we talked about this a little bit last week. So let's talk about this again, because one of our people up in here came up with the theory that that Apollo is a changeling. And the name of the show was The Changeling. So it's about the changeling. So who is the changeling? Is it this baby? Is everything really about this baby? And this baby is the changeling? Or is it really Apollo, the changeling himself, and he is the changeling? And he had a regular person. He was swapped. Did that happen? You know what I mean? And also we talked about last week. I mean, someone else put in my comment section, because I put out that video, what's inside of the case, the red case, and I told you what I thought it was in there. And if you didn't, go check out the video and stuff, right? And when I put that out there, people were saying that in the comment section, they think that maybe that his mother put chains inside of that red suitcase, that there's chains in there. And that's what she dumped to the bottom of the sea, the chain. That change would make sense. Again, we know that suitcase was heavy. I'm not going to tell you that it's a chain. It could be. I do think we're going to find out exactly what is inside of that suitcase. So I think that it's a good guess that it's changed. This, to me, I think it's more personal, especially when you look at, and I said before, I said that I think it's his father. I think she put some type of spell or chopped his father up and put him in there. He's in there. And if it's a spell that bound him in there and she threw him off the river, that makes more sense to me. Now, and I think it's that way because I think that when you see Apollo's dream he has of his father, it says free me, in that if you put the subtitles on and you watch it, he said save me in there, or free me. It says one of those words, something like that. So what is he being saved from? I think he's being saved and being freed from the chest that's in the water. That's what's going down there. Mrs. T wants to know, kindergarten wants to eat real babies, not changelings, right? Well, it says babies are a fairy's favorite food, right? That's what the poem says about it. So is kindergarten a fairy? Is that what he is? Because we see him in his true form. This motherfucker got a whole head of hair. Right? His face seems a little thicker. It seems like he has a lot going on there. So it says, babies are a fairy's favorite food. And because fairies, changelings are babies from fairies, you would think that fairies don't eat their own, right? They really couldn't populate if they did that. So we have to think that most likely they want to eat human babies more than fairy babies. Now, a changeling, you know what I mean? A changeling is when you deal with a changeling is an elf or a fairy's fucked up baby. It's not the normal baby. You know what I mean? It's not like it's their good offspring. It's an offspring that is kind of, you know, twisted and messed up, and that's why they get rid of them and stuff. You know, they're not like they're the good. You know, they ain't sending the best over here. They ain't giving us our best. Shit. Thug Mug, as always, is in hand. KP is saying he looked like a Benjamin Button baby. Nina says he's a troll. He could be a troll. It makes sense that that a troll would be a actual troll. He's an internet troll. That would be an actual troll. Would be makes a lot of sense that they would do that. So it could be that they wouldn't want to eat a fairy baby. No, I don't think so. Now you're talking two different things. Now, if you're talking about trolls and you're talking about, you know, fairies, those are two different types of people. I don't know about trolls. If he is a troll, who knows? Who knows? You know what I mean? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? It's something. KP says secret invasion. It is definitely a secret invasion going on in there and stuff. So again, I told you from the jump, we got a telephone coming in this early. Let's take it. Let's start the call. This is 8868.
Call from. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
All right, we'll take this. We'll see. What's going on? You're on with the Don Tony Teflon. Once. Twice. And the attic. All right. All right. Let me see. Let me try to figure out who that was. Let me know you're doing it. That's KP, I do believe. I think that's KP, but so something must have happened that he didn't come across. You just call back. Call back if you can. Again, if you want to call in, the number is on the crawl on the bottom and everything else. Definitely hit me back and everything else. I'm trying to see if anyone is trying to hit me over here real quick. Sorry. Oh, and let me give a shout out to Angela, who sent me a super chat through the Cash App. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. I truly appreciate it. All right, let's see if this time they can get it right.
Call from.
My cell phone is playing, but I'm using my.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
What's going on, KP? You're rocking with the Don Tony Teflon.
Tony, listen, sorry about that. There, my cell phone is playing off, so I'm using my landline. It's a lot clearer. So listen, last episode, insane. I loved it. I really liked it. Thank you for putting me onto this show. I mean, even though we hit a duck egg on the last one, Invasion.
We did.
But this one, let me tell you, it's real nice. I love the Afro-Caribbean influence on the show, even the Afro-Brazilian influence. Because a lot of those Brazilian, like changelings, like in Trinidad, we call changelings duendes, right? And you can identify them because their feet are twisted, they're back to front. So like when they walk and their footprints show that they're going left, they're actually going right because their feet are spun 180 degrees. So like it's a lot of really interesting ways that they're using the Afro-Caribbean African and Afro-Caribbean folklore and whatnot, and bringing and muddling it up with this American New York story and these witches. But let me tell you, this is why I really call this is about my last message and Secret Invasion. That's what I think this show is. That's what I think this show. Ultimately, I think the fairies or the elves, whichever they call themselves, are trying to use their changelings to basically take over humanity, take over man. So like, if you put in this, so like when you ask the question, like, why would the baby have such a gall to like scratch his mother in such a, or the one that's supposed to be his mother, when she could just very easily just strangle him and die? And I think the reason for that is because this baby knows, even though it's a baby that knows it's a changeling, and it knows its purpose, and it knows the power it has over this woman, and it could kind of flaunt it from time to time.
Okay.
It's a little bit arrogant, and I think it gets that from its power, and especially perhaps knowing that when it grows up, it's going to be way more powerful than anybody around it. And it has a particular mission, and because of that, it has a little bit of audacity. And that's why whenever we see what's actually in that trunk, in that suitcase, it's probably going to be a baby, and that's probably whoever it is that disposed of that baby, whoever baby that was, especially if it was a changeling, that was probably the event that triggered the secret invasion that had the fear, that caused the fairies to say, "Oh, okay, that's what, oh, they're playing that. All right, we're really going to take it over."
All right, real quick.
I think
real quick. I'm gonna just say, whoever just called in, wait till I'm off the phone with someone, then call back. All right, this is not like a radio hotline where there's going to be a bunch of people calling, not that many. So just wait till I'm done with the call and call back. So you're saying that you think that there's a baby inside of that red suitcase?
I think
a changeling baby or a regular baby.
I think somebody caught a changeling baby, perhaps even Apollo's mother caught that. Oh wait, one of my babies is a changeling, and had the strength of will to throw it away, and that move. That action triggered the fairies to say, "Oh, y'all playing, huh? All right, you kill one of us. All right, we're going to take it over for real."
Ooh.
And that's probably what triggered them to have so much of this thing happening.
Right.
And then these witches now have realized that this is happening, and they've come together to try to make a safe place for women who have been touched by. Because, and one thing I also wanted to say is, at the beginning when they said something to the extent of people don't understand the power that women have, and they're afraid of it, and that's a reason why they do certain things to women to try to temper their power. I think that's a big part of this witch storyline, that really and truly these women, we call them witches, but really they're very strong women that have some sort of supernatural, or probably just really regular natural power, because of their femininity. And there's Tony, you've met strong women, especially strong black women. You know that there's something very, very uniquely strong about a strong black woman. Yeah. And I'm not saying that it's not about strong white women, because I just don't have that much experience with white women, I guess. But because like my wife is Latina, but she's a little bit German, but she's mostly black. So like black women have this strength in them, and I think it's also present in all women. But I think I'm just coming from the black Brazilian Caribbean place. I think that is also a big part of this story. Women coming together and using their unique feminine strength to overcome these fairies. That it seems to be, because every representation of the fairies that I've seen has been male. I don't know if you've seen any other representation of it that's been female, but it seems every representation of the fairies, the elves, whatever they are, has been male. Have you seen it as a? Have you seen a female representation?
That's why if we're talking about the fairies, we have not seen. We don't know if we've seen one for sure. But if we have, or when we see,
correct, but the thing that we think, like, doing the cell or whatever, we think he's a fairy or an elf, whatever.
Yeah,
right? So
he could be a troll too. There is a possibility that because I know that there are trolls in the story, so it's a possibility that he could be a troll. The fact that he's a internet troll and then a real troll in real life would be very ironic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good ironic spin on the on it. Like he's a troll, he's also an internet troll. Some smart writer thought that up.
Yeah.
And the last thing I would probably put into the story is the idea that this photograph that she took, because I'm watching, because I saw her set the camera up, I saw her take her clothes off, turn around, get into the pose, and then her pose is almost like the Baphomet pose, as above, so below. But the so below is the same, but the as above isn't the same, because the as above, she's protecting her womb, her loins.
Yeah.
And so there's something. I believe that photo in and of itself is a spell, and by seeing the photo, this guy was triggered. Whether he knows why he was triggered, I don't even think he knows that. But whatever it was in that photo, by seeing that photo, something in him was triggered, and that caused him to kill his female child. So I think there's something to that too.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think, when dealing with the photo, that it's more than just the look. I mean, she does have the red string on her, right? At that time.
Correct.
She does have the red string on her wrist. So it could be something with the red string that omits, like the string itself omits some type of energy, right? And that because when we look at Apollo, and I'm gonna let you go, and then you can call back for a little bit. Other people calling, all right, bro?
Yeah. The one thing I want to say too is, before I go, is it's very interesting that she went to grab the fruit from the tree and she got stuck by the branch, and the dude says, "You didn't ask the tree's permission." I thought that was very interesting. I don't know what it means, but I bet it means something. Right. You'll have a good night, and if anything, I might call back later if nobody else is calling. But it's a good show. You chose a good one for us, Tony. You guys have a good night.
All right, brother. Peace. Yeah. So when dealing with Emma and dealing with that picture, I think that we see that she has that red string on her wrist. That red string does have some type of power, because when we see her friend and Apollo pulls it out, right? And then her friend's like, "Don't touch me with that wuju shit. Like, don't put that shit on my body. I don't want that." So it must have some type of power. She didn't want that shit touched her. And when Apollo was able to find the island, it wasn't until he put that string around his finger that he was able to find the island. So I think that string does have some type of power. All right, let's take this call.
Call from
Ashley.
To accept, press 1.
We're rocking with the Don Tony Teflon. Who we talking to?
Hi, this is Ashley. Oh my God, I can't believe I got connected.
Hi, Ashley. How are you?
I'm doing good. I just want to say I love your show. I've been watching it since forever. I'm a big fan of From. I feel like I want to rumble with you sometimes with From, but you be spot on most times. So
thank you
for having me.
Thank you. It's all good, but it's all about not everyone's gonna agree on everything, but just putting ideas out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been great. I'm glad to be a part of the journey. But I absolutely am so excited that you're reviewing this show. It's an incredible show. I do agree with the gentleman that just called in about the photo and it triggering something in William. And I agree with you. William is definitely a troll. I don't know if Apollo's father was a troll. I think he's probably more of like a fairy or something else. And I do agree with the idea of the baby, maybe a baby, the changeling within that red case. Like, I think that it's something about Apollo's mom and Emma, their connection, maybe like they've experienced something similar and we're just kind of seeing the story kind of being retold with them. Yep. I don't know if it's wrong. But yeah, I definitely think that William is a troll. And as far as like with Emma, I know that you feel like the witch pretty much like possessed her, like took over the body, like there was a switch, like the wishes for her life. But I don't know. I mean, since episode 5, I've been kind of thinking about it like metaphorically, maybe the death of a life that you know and you coming into something that you're a part of, because it seems like Emma has always had like this like supernatural connection. I think you guys mentioned it last week, like with her taking control of the guy that rushed into the library, like listen to the sound of my voice, or like her mom letting go of her when she was a kid and being in that fire. So I think there was something that intrigued her to go to the lagoon, because it was something that was familiar to her. And this is something that I've been like looking into as far as like the folklore with the changelings. And someone was saying with changelings, in order to get them to confess that they are more than what they are, is either you have to trick them into laughing at something, or you do something extreme like burn them, you know, like with iron or with fire or something. So when Emma was boiling that water, I genuinely think she was trying to get a confession or prove that this was not her baby, because in the episode 5, we got to see what she was seeing. Like, she saw through the glamour, you know what I mean?
She
So
did.
I don't know, what do you think about that? I'm sorry, I'm running my mouth.
Nah, she did. She was able to see through the glamour. Like she caught a glimpse of it, and then it went back to a baby. And then the lesser, as I said, that laugh, when that baby laughed, that was an evil ass laugh. That wasn't a regular human laugh. You know what I mean? That was a crazy laugh. And I do think that she's possessed, because even though she's seen all those things, right, that we said about the baby, that's still not going to give her the ability to touch the bottom of that pot with the fire and not hurt herself. You know, you can be as crazy as you want to be. You know what I mean? I don't care if you're cuckoo, Cocoa Puffs. You can be what you want, but your ass gets some fire on you, and then all of a sudden that craziness runs out your ass. That's you ouch. That's your hurt. She ain't feeling nothing. She just held that underneath her hand that whole time. So something has to be going on there where she ain't feeling no pain.
Yeah, maybe she channeled the woman, because at this point, I think she's gonna need the witch's help to get back her baby. I don't know if the baby is like dead, or like within the fairy tale story, this baby being in a world that they're not a part of. Because like even with the lady at the sanctuary, I can't think of her name. The one that's pretty much like letting Apollo know what exactly Emma was going through.
Oh, the friend. Yeah, I can't think of her name right now.
Yeah, she keeps mentioning that there's like you crossed into another realm, another path.
Well,
so
Cal, you talking about Cal? Cal, you talking about?
Cal, yes, Cal. Like Cal kept telling him, like, you kind of crossed over another realm, and wherever Emma is, you can't get to her by plane, train. Like it's not gonna. This is not MTA. Like you're not gonna get to her from borough to borough. Like wherever she is, it's gonna take a sort of magic to get there. And I just hope that we get more answers and they find the baby. Maybe it's not in this season and next, because from what it sounds like with the changeling story, like with changelings and certain like cultures, they really believe that was like a real thing. Like people have actually been persecuted for, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so they use that to like when babies had like defects in them, they use that to explain why the baby had defects that was switched.
Exactly.
As KP said, like in his country over there, that they have a different name for changelings, but it's with like the babies, when the baby's feet are shaped a certain way and everything else. That's when they say that.
Yeah, that's insane. It's actually crazy to think of a world where people actually felt that way. But whatever is going on, the trolls and the witches, they have beef. And I definitely feel like when William, the troll, seen that string on Emma's arm, it was, I don't know, it ignited something. And whoever, I'm like wondering why Apollo didn't say something to Cal about the statement he made about everyone on the island dying. Because I feel like, why won't you say something? Because maybe they won't find them, because initially he wouldn't have been able to find him without Apollo.
Yeah, and listen, he tried to make it like, oh, if you don't do this, everyone on this island is gonna die. Like the witches are gonna kill everybody. But really, it's his people, the trolls, that they are trolls, that are going to come there and wipe out the whole island, kill all the babies,
Yeah.
kill everything in there, kill all the women. They're gonna go through there and run right through them all.
Yeah, I think so. I hope not, but that's what it looks like it's heading. But thank you so much for having me. I'm a big fan. I'm gonna keep watching and supporting,
Well, I
and just
appreciate
keep
it.
doing it. No problem. I'm excited to see you this week again.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you for the call. We will speak again. Peace and stay sexy. And we have been getting some good calls. But yeah, when you deal with and as Mara says, invite people to the stream. Let's build this community up. Make sure you hit that thumbs up for your boy. We have over 100 people watching. That means we should have over 100 likes here. And the more likes we get, the more YouTube spreads this out. So make sure you do that and get this community building. Let's get this thing going and everything else. And yeah, thanks again for calling. The call is hot and heavy. Let's take this call coming in right here, and we know who this is.
Call from
The Voice at 916.
Hello, how are you?
I am great. You know I couldn't stay away after episode 5. This was something else. And the last previous callers were on point. I have to kind of chime and say, yes, I've been thinking this way for a few episodes. And but I have a couple little differences with some of what has been said. One, when we talk about the suitcase, I agree with KP. There's a changeling baby in that suitcase, and Emma was getting rid of it because when she came home, she found, I don't believe it was Brian. When Brian comes to the front door, when baby Apollo answers it, his face is all covered in that blue, whatever it is.
Yep.
And then he pulls off like a mask.
Yes.
So it's like a glamour to look like Brian. So Apollo will let him into the apartment. Apollo lets him in. He picks him up. Brian picks him up, takes him to the bathroom, trying to drown him so he can replace Apollo with the changeling he brought with him.
Okay.
Now, Emma comes home. Lillian comes home.
Yes.
And she recognizes what's going on. Her and the troll struggle. She kills the troll, and she kills the changeling by drowning the changeling in the tub. Puts the changeling in the suitcase and gets rid of the changeling baby in the sea. Now, I haven't quite worked out what she would have done with the troll, and the troll might have maybe in the struggle got away as opposed to being killed. I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
And because Lillian killed the changeling that was supposed to replace Apollo, that put kind of like a generational alert out. So as Apollo grows up and becomes a man, he starts to experience some of the very same things that happened with Lillian and Brian.
Right.
So I think that red suitcase has a changeling baby in it. That's why you see her as a young woman disposing of these suitcase, and as an older woman coming back and she's remembering all this stuff, and she's starting to think, well, maybe there's a parallel here. I think it's kind of coming to her that something is amiss with baby Brian.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me give you a little, because my theory and my pushback is that I think that, again, when dealing with the people in this show, and I think if anyone you look, you'll see it. The witch's color is red, and I believe that the elves, the changeling, they're blue. So anytime you see, like when you see Apollo's baby, it's in the blue crib. They dress it in blue. The whole room is painted blue, and that's the changelings. I think all the blue stuff associated with blues has to do with that. Red has to do associated with the witches. So I think when his father came, since he was all decked out in blue, I believe his father's an elf, not a troll. And I think that she fought the father. And now if he was trying to swap the baby out, I don't know a troll would do that. I know the elves would do that, right? So if she may have caught him in the act of trying to do that and take her son, drop the baby off, and then go off with her son. And so you're coming with me. Because when Apollo has the dreams about it says, save me, is what comes up. Right? So if that's his father in the dream and he's saying, save me from what? Where is he to be saved? I think he's locked inside that suitcase. That's what I think and stuff. But it could go both ways.
Okay. So do you think that the person at the door was actually Brian or something glamored as Brian?
I think it's Brian. I think it was his father. I think that's why she fought him, because she knew that he was probably going to swap Apollo out to fool her so he could take his son with him, because she divorced him and didn't want him around anymore. So he was like, oh, really? Because he was kind of big. Usually when they swap them out, it's when they're babies, not that old, you know?
Right,
so
right.
I think he probably was going to, because he says, you're coming with me. That's what he always kept hearing. You're coming with me. So I think that he was definitely going to take him away and probably swap him out. But she caught him in the act, and then she disposed of him before he could do it. And I think she put a spell on his ass and put him inside that trunk. And that's why it's so heavy, that trunk. And then she dumped him in the water. Because when they were talking about that episode, when you see that episode, that's when the whole confession about his father comes out. So the story is basically about his father at that time. And then we see her looking into the water, because they're talking about why did you and dad not get along? What happened to him? And she's saying, I sent him away. I got rid of him because he wasn't stable, or whatever reason she gave. So I think it was more focused on the dad, and then all of a sudden at the end she's looking in the water at the suitcase. So I think that's the dad in the suitcase.
Well, hopefully we'll see that. We'll see a backstory like we saw with Emma. That should prove very fruitful.
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. And one last thing with Emma's photo and her being naturally a powerful woman. I have to chime with KP on this as well, that she has that kind of energy. She's had it all her life. And the closer she gets to the elements, she's in the jungle, in the natural environment, it's bringing all that out. She's being her natural self. And she took the photo because she wanted that to be seen, but she didn't want that to be seen through a male's gaze. She wanted that to be seen on her own terms. So that's why she took it, and that's why she posed the way she posed. And I agree with you on your last video when you say the reason why she posed in such a way that it was to show the power of creation, the power of what was in her body. That was strength. So I agree with that as well too. So this show has all of us just going, what? Just when we think we have the actual fact, the actual what's going on, something comes and switches up, and we're like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's what makes this show so wonderful, and having the community to talk this out with is what it's all about too.
Yes. There's a lot of metaphors. There's a lot of archetypes, and it really invites us to be curious and to look deeper than the average show. That's one of the main things I appreciate about it. It's a thinking person show. It's not, it's not a shallow show. And I appreciate the community bringing in all these theories and ideas, and we bounce them off of each other, and then you come in and you present what you think, and we're off and going. I love it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for taking my call.
Anytime.
Again, and you be well, chat, be well, and Tony, I know you will. Be sexy.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Right. That is the beautiful voice of 1916 chiming in. And yeah, I agree with everything she said, except for what's in the suitcase. Again, I told y'all from the jump, to look for the colors, right? I told y'all this from the first episode I seen. I told you that the red color and the blue color were very important in this show. And I know maybe some people were skeptical when I first said that, but I think now by episode 5, you can see that I'm definitely right about this. And I'm telling you that the elves are associated with blue. When you see blue, it has something to do with them. That changeling baby room, it's no way that shit had to be that goddamn blue. You're going to dress this boy in blue. You're like, oh, you dress a baby boy in blue. It's more than that, right? And then even when you see Emma and she's developing the pictures, right? And I know that when you develop a picture, that you have to have it in the red room, you have to have the red light. I totally understood that. But they didn't have to have him develop that picture that way. They could have had it done digitally. They could have done it on a computer, but they chose to do it that way. And I think they did was because the red is associated with witches. And they wanted to show that Emma had a witch inside of her and that she was going to become a witch because this lady's going to take her life. Again, she told her 3 wishes for your life, Emma. It's her life that she's taking for these 3 wishes. No one else's, like Emma's life, has to give up her life in order for these 3 wishes to come true and everything. And when all 3 of these wishes come true, then her life is gone and everything else. So that's what I feel. Again, when you look at the suitcase was red, right? Again, I think the mom is definitely a witch, especially when you see her tell the story and she's talking to Emma and she says, you know, it's passed on from my mother, from her mother, from her mother, and she's touching hands and she goes, it's like a chain, an unbroken chain, and it's all passed on. And then the narrator of the story, when he's talking, he says that if you don't learn from your mother, you're going to learn from the world, right? And then they show that whole situation. So I don't think that's coincidence that they're doing that at all. I think that Emma's got to learn. If she didn't learn it from her mother, she's going to learn this from the world. And her mother may have knew something, because definitely when she was inside of that fire and she looked at her mother and she said, let me go, the face that her mother got when she said it to her was like a face. She was shocked, like she was, and then she just let go of her. So when she said those words to her, something came out of her at that time. You know what I mean? Now, you may say that, oh, the mother snapped to her senses at that particular time, but she didn't snap to her senses enough when she was trying to leave the house. She still stayed there, but she definitely let her go. So she definitely has some type of something going on with her, without a shadow of a doubt. But it still doesn't explain in the end, if she is has some type of sorcery in her blood, how she's able to withstand the heat from that pot, and the way she's acting and the way her body is physically moving during that scene. It's not like she's human. She's moving like she's possessed. Her shoulders are going crazy and her head's turning to this side and everything else. So there's something else going on with her. You know what I mean? At that particular time. Let me put the refill in effect. Sorry about that. You gotta get the thug mug stock back up, all right? And as Mara says, we have over 130 people up in here. Please hit that thumbs up for your boy. It helps spread this out. And the more people see it, the more people are here. Again, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We truly appreciate it if you do subscribe to the channel. And when you do subscribe, make sure you hit notifications so that you know every time I drop a new video and everything else. A cup of tea says changelings also do not like iron. Yes, I've seen that, I read that they do not like iron at all. But I mean, the fact that kindergarten said, you know, boiled brine, a boiled oil, you know, something for brine, boiled onions. She had to burn that baby with that water. There's no way around it. And as we just said, in order to get the baby to change shape, I guess you have to burn it, as someone just said. And definitely become a member like our boy, the Betrayed King out there. Then you have access to all those great emojis and stuff that he has. So definitely become a member. It's not a lot of money. I think it's like $1 a month or something like that. It's nothing at all. You know what I mean? And that's it. You know, Lady A says that bedroom door flew open by itself. Yeah, she definitely at that time. I think that she's in full she's been taken over by the women. The woman down there has body snatched her from the washerwoman. Body snatched her at that point. That's what I think. I think that's why. And we know that washerwoman. She wouldn't give a fuck. She killed that baby in an instant. Like you can see, that lady ain't playing over there. Like you gotta boil this baby. Oh, I got you. I got this. Let me do this for you right here. Let's see. It says, let's take this right here. But he was a friend, a troll, like kindergarten as well. Who we talking about? I need to know who you're talking about. And everything else. What's this say? Bro, get StreamYard. Let us call in to add perspective. All right, so obviously you are new here. Obviously you are new here. So let's explain it to you real quick since you're new here. And I appreciate you stopping by. Number one, this is StreamYard that I'm using. All right, so that's that. So yes, you're looking at StreamYard. That's that. Number two, you can call in. This is a call-in show. It says it on the title of the show. And the number, if you want to call in, is on the bottom of the crawl. 518-290-0848. So yeah, you can call in and everything else, and this is it. So that's the way it is. Is he talking about someone else? I don't know. Well, it seems like he's talking to me. All right. Is Patrice a troll? I don't know. Oh, let me just shout out to the Betrayed King for becoming a member for a month. The member for a full month. Thanks for the shout out, stuff. I know I appreciate it. I appreciate you being part of it and everything else. You know what I mean? And being a member for a month and everything else. Yeah. Thank you. It truly means a lot to me. Is Patrice a troll? Patrice has a blue color that's around him when he's inside of the place and he's doing everything, looking up stuff and looking up people and everything else. It's all blue in there. So I wouldn't think Patrice is a troll. If Patrice is going to be anything, he would be an elf, if anything. If that's the case, if he's going to be anything. But I think we do have to have some normal humans in here too. Not everybody can be a witch and a troll. Some people have to be regular too, and all that. So it definitely has to be something like that. And as Mara said, yes, welcome everyone who's new here. Welcome, thank you. Again, if you don't realize it's a call-in line, it says it on the crawl on the bottom. You can call in and speak to me live, 518-290-0848. I'm here listening for you and everything else and all that. And the other person who said those things, I hope it didn't scare you away. That wasn't the intention. All the time, just explaining in case you've never been here before that you can definitely call, and that's why this is a call-in show. And yes, we are using StreamYard. So tell StreamYard to send me some money for promoting them out loud like that. We used to use Melon, but we're using StreamYard right now and everything else. You know what I mean? All right, pretty girl one saying keep an eye on him. Yeah, you know, I keep an eye on everybody. You know what I mean? Teacups now say he's giving Patrice the side eye now. I understand why it would seem that way, but I just think that we have to have some normal humans in here that aren't everything. And Patrice is probably just a normal cat in the end. He's probably just a normal person. That's what I would think. You know what I mean? But we'll keep an eye on Patrice. We'll definitely keep an eye on him. Without a shadow of a doubt. Someone said green space face. Next up here. Okay. I don't know what to say. He's just laughing. All right. Yes. All right. We got a phone call. Let's take this. What's this? I don't think I've seen this number before. 254.
Call from
Kaiser.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press...
You're rocking with the Don Tony Teflon. Who we speaking to?
This is Dr. K. That's good.
Kaiser Sose.
Yeah, Kaiser.
All
Yeah,
right,
that's it.
Kaiser, what's going on, man?
Yeah, not too much. Just I thought I'd call in, so I wanted to kind of see what your opinion is on some of the theories out there.
Okay.
Referring to the changeling. Yeah. So, personally, I think that the guy's wife is already a witch. Do you agree with that? Or
Which one? Who we talk? Which guy's wife? Apollo's
all right,
wife?
yeah, Apollo's wife. Yeah.
I think she's going to get possessed by a witch, but I understand why it does seem like she has something to do with witchcraft, like it's in her bloodline. Especially when you hear Apollo's mother say, and I just said it, that she said it's passed from one mother to another mother to another mother like a chain. So maybe her mother was, and it was in her blood, but she didn't understand. Hasn't practiced witchcraft, I don't think. But I do think that it's possible that it's in her blood. Hello. Well, that was quick. He hung up. Maybe he didn't like what I said. I try to keep my answers shorter next time. But yeah, when dealing with her, I do think that it's definitely inside of her bloodline. But thanks for calling in. Call back if something happened with you and everything else. Luna says, if William, aka Kindergarten, said it, it's a lie. It's definitely, he's been lying the whole time. You know what I mean? He's always been lying. He's been lying from the jump. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. And that's what it is. Now, let's take Luna. No, Luna tell me no. Don't be telling me no, girl. As she says, Lillian was referring to knowledge and wisdom passed from woman to woman. Yes, but it also could mean that witchcraft could be that knowledge and that wisdom that's passed from woman to woman also. She phrased it as knowledge and wisdom, but that wisdom and knowledge could be witchcraft. It could also be that. So I agree that yes, she did say it means something else than more than what she said. You know what I mean? And everything. Because she touched her hand too after it, like she knew something. You know what I mean? Like she knew everything else right there. Garcia says his wife's sister, when Apollo was giving her the money, said that he didn't know everything and that it was never meant to be like that. I think she knows more than Apollo. Yeah, because Apollo was trying to get the third wish out of her. That's what he wanted to know, because he brought that up and everything else, right, too. And you know what I mean? He put it out there, like, oh, we may never find out what her third wish is. Kind of hint, do you know? If you do, let me know what that third wish was, and everything else. So I think that's what it was. I think she meant when I think that's what he was trying to do. And again, as KP is saying, like, yes, she's speaking in coded language, dog whistle. Yes, that's what I believe the mother was doing at that particular time. I think it's the witchcraft that's passed down from woman to woman, life to life. You know what I mean? And a narrator in the show specifically talks about the power of women in there and everything else. And OW, thank you for rocking with us. If you're not getting notifications, what you have to do is make sure that you have the icon clicked on the bell, and you have to put all on. You have to put all. If you don't put all, you will not get all notifications. Put some, you're only going to get some, but you have to put all on to get notifications. So I won't, and you can do that because I don't be blowing up. I don't be putting videos out every day. So you can definitely do that and everything else. You know what I mean? That's what it is. As going to learn from the best, you and KP. KP is the best, no doubt about it. But you have to put that on. OW says, do you guys believe the babies are not real? There are definitely changeling babies involved in this without a shadow of doubt. Jamie McDonald says she mentioned the matriarchal structures of some African cultures. She definitely did. Yes, KP was on here a little bit ago, and he broke down, the African aspect, the African West Indies, Brazilian ties to the show and the changelings and everything else. So I can't break it down like he did because that's not part of my culture like that. But he broke it down a little bit earlier, and if you go back and watch this from the beginning, you would hear him talking about all that and everything else from Trinidadian culture and how they weave all that stuff into. I could tell you about the stuff going on in Queens because I'm from Queens. As you can see, Queens is tattooed right there on my arm. You know what I mean? So I represent. You know what I mean? So anything going on in Queens, I could tell you. Just like I told you that was weird. His Met hat was a Yankee color blue, and that's not the color for the Mets. You know what I mean? The Mets don't wear that Yankee color blue. They have a lighter blue, and black is their colors. Really, it's blue and orange, just like the New York Knicks colors is the same colors of the Mets. And it was weird that he had a dark Met hat like that, because you don't really wear that. If you're a Met fan, you don't wear the Yankee colors. That's just not the way it goes in New York. No real Met fan would do that, and everything else. He said the babies definitely weren't real. It depends what baby you're talking about. And again, I know people. I heard someone in the comments section tell me that because I referred to things as baby and everything else. Jamie says I am Geechee. It's a similar situation, except hoodoo was practiced that can be used alongside of Christianity. So I have said this and just a little bit ago. I do believe that there is hoodoo aspects in it, because I do believe that washerwoman body snapped Emma and is going to take over Emma without a shadow of a doubt. William had on blue. What does that mean? I don't. William, first, when you get presented with William, he's in beige. And they mentioned that specifically when you see him for the first time. They mentioned that Patrice says, look at this dude, beige jacket, beige pants, beige shirt, beige from head to toe was the first initial color that was shown on him, right? So I think we should go with that more than everything else that he's wearing here and there. He was introduced as a beige, a neutral, right? So if you got the witches right here in the red, and you got the elves and the fairies. I mean, elves are fairies. I do believe the fairies in the blue, and you have him right in the middle, right down there with that beige. And as for Jane McDonald, who's a Geechee, call in 518-290-0848. Call in and express what your culture says and everything else. Let us know exactly what you feel and how that goes in. We'd love to hear from you. Definitely call in right now. We love to hear from you and drop some of that knowledge on us that we don't know about and everything else. We'd love to hear that. M Brand says it's is ready to burn William. Greta, William's wife, is ready to burn William alive. She still lives in the city with their second child, Grace. William wiped out her savings in order to force her to contact him. Well, yeah, but he killed their child. He killed him. You know what I mean? He killed the child and fronted like she did it, right? He killed the daughter. Why did he kill the daughter? Like we don't get that answered. Why he killed their daughter? We don't answer that. They don't answer that question. He took every penny she got just to give a book and write and deface the book, and give it to her. And I don't know if she said that she was ready to burn him alive. It was Cal who said she was going to burn him alive, burn him at the stake. Did she say burn him at the stake or just burn him alive? But Cal was going to burn his ass. You know what I mean? She was the one. And William is convinced that he's going to die. Like he knows, like he's no escape. They're going to kill him. You know what I mean? And all that. Mrs. T says that did William eat the daughter? Listen, he might have. We don't know how the daughter died. We have no idea how the daughter died. We just know we killed her. If he ate the daughter, it depends on. Again, they say that a kid is a fairy's favorite food. If he's a fairy, then we could see that happening. But I'm going along the lines that he's a troll. He's an internet troll, and he's actually a real troll. And I don't know if trolls eat human babies. I don't know if that's the case, and they do that. So we'll see. Luna says, do you remember when William was found on the island? He had been waving his cell phone. He probably was signaling to his troll posse to the island to cause chaos. Yeah, there's no doubt. He says straight up that if you don't do this, Apollo, that you're everyone on this island is gonna die. And he's making it seem like they're gonna kill everybody, but it's really his people, the trolls. You know what I mean? That found them. I think that's why they had to escape the last time, Cal and them, and make a new island, because they got discovered, right? They got discovered, and that's when they came there and ransacked the place and killed everybody. Gardena, you're new. I didn't see your name in here before. Thank you for joining. Isn't a troll a type of? I don't know. I'm not so familiar with the the mythology of it, if a troll is actually a fairy. I'm not sure. I don't know. So I had to look it up. Pretty Girl 101 says trolls eat babies also. All right. So yeah, if they do, they do. So maybe he ate the daughter. That'd be disgusting if he did. I mean, could it be that appetizing to you when you can't hold back? Again, when dealing with these fairies kidnapping and taking these babies, it's been going on for a long time in the show. We see right when Apollo's mom is with his father, they have all the signs of the missing children now. Right? They're all on the street poles and everything else. And again, I remember back in the day, especially growing up in the city, and if y'all old enough and you in New York City, I don't know how it was in other states. I can only tell you about my state. But they used to have missing kids on milk cartons all the time. Right in the back of the milk carton, when you would buy a half a gallon of milk, they would always have a missing child on the back of the milk carton. And it would always be that. It was every time you got a bottle of milk, there was a missing child on the back of the milk carton to try to help find these children. Again, I said just like I said it like my mother would say it. Dig it says fairies are tricksters though. Like, I'm thinking they made Emma hallucinate. It's not being her child, maybe so she could seek refuge and end up with her people. So you think, I don't think all that was fake. I was just saying that they did that maybe William set this whole thing up to make her believe that. But the fact that he's seen that picture of her, he's seen that picture of her from the beginning. You know, from when it was first developed, all the way in Norway, he's seen that picture. And then he got in contact with Apollo. So the real person he was trying to get in contact with was her from the beginning. And he made the trek and found her ass all the way in New York City. Which is, how do you do that? That's weird to do. You know what I mean? You know, so that's what it is. Let's see. I think William's crew will be coming to save him next episode. And I think they're gonna be there, and they may slaughter the whole city. They may because when you see him in his true form, and he has a full head of hair, and he looks mean, and his voice is changing, and everything else. You know, they did everything except for like put horns come out of his head. You know what I mean? So and everything else. Elias says so. William is a shapeshift. He would have a shape-shifting ability, type of glamour on him. All right, let's take this phone call right here. This is 216 calling.
Call from
Jazz.
To accept, press 1.
What's going on? You're rocking with the Don Tony Teflon. Who we speaking to?
Hi, this is Jazz.
What's going on, Jazz?
Hey, so I just had like two little things that's been bothering me the whole time. So I know when we kept saying, when everybody kept talking about Emma being a witch already, I kind of feel like she probably already had something in her bloodline with them focusing the story kind of like on her mom and her. But if you pay attention throughout like the show, they always focus in on her eyes. And even down to the episode about when they were showing her mother setting the house on fire, they focused on her eyes, and all you seen was the fire in her eyes. And even when they shot the scenes back and forth from her being little to when she was an adult, they always, focused on her eyes. And even down to the library with the man that came in, and when he like gazed in on her eyes, he kind of calmed down and mellowed himself out. And it's like she kind of got like some type of, I don't know, like spell over men or something. And then the other one was at the end when Apollo confronted William, how William just changed, but it wasn't just his facial features. He had hair, even the coat. And it threw me back to the episode of Apollo's dad when Brian came to the door. The coat that he was wearing and the facial expressions that he had when the blue smoke was coming out of his mouth and he was mouthing Apollo.
Yeah, I agree on both. Like, he definitely changed his physical features. We definitely seen that. I got to go back and take a look and see if the coat actually changed too. But if the coat changed too, then that means that it's a glamour that he's wearing, right? So if the coat changed, also the clothing changed, then he's not a shapeshifter, so to say. It's a glamour, because that's the only way he would be able to change the clothing also. So it would have to be more of a glamour on him than just than him shapeshifting and changing into a troll.
Got it. Yeah, because you be right. I swear you be right on the money with what you be saying, because I went back a few times, like showing my clients when I'm at the shop, like the show, and I pick up on stuff that you was talking about, and then I pay attention to it. I'm like, man, you be right on the money.
Well, I appreciate it. Don't say that don't say that too loud. People don't like that. They don't.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for letting me call in.
Anytime. Call back anytime you want.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Right. The Don Tony Teflon, he be right sometimes, you know what I mean? Whoever just call back. I was on the phone, so that's why I didn't answer for you. But you can always call back. And that's it. And yeah, all the new people here, welcome to the family and everything else. Tamara Allen says, so the question is, did he glamour his wife also? Greta seemed to have the same shirt on she had in the pic. Let's take this call. We'll come right back to that question. Let's see who this is. This is area code 510.
Call from. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Now, normally I would not take it because they didn't do that, but we'll give them a shot. We'll see what's going on. Oh, they hung up before. They hung up. They hung up before I could do it. I was gonna give them a shot. Usually don't say their name. They want some trolly shit. You know what I mean? It happens and stuff like that. But I would give him a chance. All right, so back to Tamara Allen's question. And Allen happens to be my mother's maiden name and everything else, also my middle name. So the question is, did he glamour his wife also? Greta seemed to have the same shirt on she had in the phone picture. I don't know if he glamored her. I don't think the wife was aware. I don't think the wife was aware of what he truly was. I don't think that the wife knew that he was a troll or a fairy or whatever he is. So I would say no, that he glamored himself, but not the wife. I wouldn't say that the wife is glamour. And we also see the lady who was inside on the meeting, that she made her way to the island. She was there, the one. It's not a baby. It's not a baby. Why did they scream that? It's not a baby. What do y'all make of that? It's not. Why are they screaming it? You know, is it this that it's emotionally scarring that makes you go crazy to say that? I just don't understand why they scream it. You know what I mean? Like if it's not a baby, it's not a baby. Yeah, I got you. There ain't no need to go all crazy about it and everything else and all that, you know. So but Kathy B is asking that we talk about, we did talk about the picture, but if you have a specific thing you want to talk about the picture, we can go back to the picture and everything else. Again, but to recap what I said about the picture really quick, I thought that it has something to do with the red band on her wrist. All right, here's 510 again. Give him another chance.
Call from
Serene Divine.
to accept, press 1. To send a voice.
What's going on? You're rocking with the Don Tony Teflon. Who is this?
Serene Divine.
What's going on, Serene? How's everything?
Everything is good. How are you?
I'm good. What's on your mind?
Oh my God, I can't believe I got through. Okay. Anyway, so Will.
Yeah.
I don't believe that Will, the character that's being played, I believe that's a troll who took Will's face, if that makes sense.
All right. So you think that the real Will was killed by this troll and the troll is impersonating Will?
Yes.
Okay.
And I say that because if you look at the transformation, when Apollo goes back, if you look briefly, you see Will, then you see the troll, just like for, I would say not even like a second. And then he morphs into this younger looking guy who I think favors the art gallery owner. I don't know his name off the top of my mind right now.
Mm-hmm. I know you too.
So I think it's all related, like within the same place. They all came from the same place. I think that this is going to be completely off for some people, but I think that the trolls and the fairies have already had a lot of war with the witches. So I think when that witch put the string onto Emma, it kind of brought some of her beef, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense 100%. And I agree that there's a war going on, whether it's the fairies versus the witches or the trolls versus the witches or all three fighting each other. Definitely there's a war going on that's been fought for years, centuries probably. They've been fighting with each other. And he does have a similar look to the art owner himself. There is something interesting about them. Like there's somehow, I don't know if they're in the same musical group, but there's something about, I think it's the musical. I think they're both in the same musical group.
Yeah, they both are in a musical group together, but they look very familiar, as far as, going along with the script and everything. And I previously had realized that Will was following them. I kept saying them, both Apollo and Emma, but with this last episode, I realized that he was following Emma from the beginning. That's how he knew about her having the baby. I still believe that he was the one that was sending the text messages. And I believe when the troll took over Will was already like into IT and the government and things like that. I think when you take over, it's like you possess someone, so you also possess their skills. Okay. So he was using Will's network to gain information about people.
So when do you think that when he's in looking at the picture that's the troll, or you think that's Will?
I think that's Will himself when he was carrying his daughter.
All right. Now,
I think somewhere along the line, whenever, the troll took over him, that's when the daughter was killed.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you're saying that Will was
so I do believe that the real Will probably was like a loving father, looked like he adored his daughter. He carried her the whole time. But once the troll entity took over him, he took over his whole identity, smiling in the wife's face, smiling in the kid's face, and proceeded to kill the daughter.
All right.
And now he's terrorizing them.
I can dig it. I can dig it without a shadow of a doubt. I could see that going down. I think that's a good theory that you got there. And then you could be on to something there. Without a doubt. I can't refute it in any way really right now. that it's not him. Only thing I could say is that if it was going to happen, I mean, it seems like he gets entranced by that picture right then. So maybe then, maybe that. I mean, they do show him being a good dad at that particular time. They try to stress that by the daughter with the ice cream and is a loving family and everything else like that. It does make sense for it to go through. So yeah, it's very plausible to me when I hear that theory. Could be. We know he's a troll. I think, me personally, that he's always been a troll from the jump. And I think he's always been like that, whether he was born a changeling baby, because he says when he's in the cell that the people who showed him who he really was are the people who gave him his name, right? That's what he's Apollo when he's in the cell with him. So the people, I don't think those are the people who showed him. They showed him, said, hey, you're not really a human, you're really one of us. And they're the ones who named him, and that's when he became aware of everything that he is. So that's why I think that he has always been this troll or this elf, whatever he is going to be. I think he's always been that way, because it was them who told him who he was and showed him who he was. And when they showed him who he was, then they gave him his name, Kindergarten. That's what I think.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that would make a lot of sense as well.
Yeah, both.
There was one more point I wanted to bring up. Okay, go ahead.
No,
I'm sorry.
Both do. Both things could go down. It could go either way. I think your theory is on there too. So go right on. Go on.
And so I think he also called for his brethren to come to, I'm saying brethren, clique, whatever, gang, whatever they call them, to come to the island. I think he's very angry with Emma because I do think that she killed the Changeling, but I think that was part of the combination of her witch powers, and that's why she was able to see the baby as it was.
Yeah, I think that it could have been something inside of her, a witching bloodline that made her see the baby what it was. And also, again, the whole thing could have been a setup from the beginning. He's the one who terrorized her because he wanted her to get to that island, because he wanted Apollo to get him in on that island. All could have been a setup from the beginning. True. You know what I mean? From all the way to the beginning. Because he comes into the picture. Okay. He comes into the picture when he says he wants to buy the book, but all of a sudden he's at the meeting that he's having. He's sitting at the meeting. Now, why would you, if you wanted to buy a book, why would you be at that meeting? And also at that meeting was another woman who was at the island who said that her baby wasn't the baby too, right? So he infiltrated this whole thing. Everything was infiltrated. You know what I mean? So I definitely think that, this could have been his plan from the beginning to get Apollo over there so he could find this island, so him and his troll friends can kill everybody on that island.
Yes, I do believe that as well.
And that's
okay. Thank you so much for accepting my call.
No, thank you for calling back. I know I had problems. I get called and hung up, but thanks for calling back.
Okay, no worries. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Bye. Hey, you talking Mara? You looking like no one stumps the Don, Mara Chase. No one can stump the Don. All right, and when it comes down to Mara Chase, let me be real quick before we get into it. Mara Chase, this beautiful black woman from out of the Bronx, New York, has her own. We're gonna take this call. Has her own lingerie line for women. So I mean, whoever's into it, you know what I mean. Let me take the call, and then we're gonna two people.
Call from.
This is the voice at 916.
To accept, press 1.
Hello, voice of 916. 1 second. Can I just, before we get into what we're talking about, let me finish my plug tomorrow, okay? Hello? Wait a second. What's going on? I think I think it's the voice of 916 dropper. Call right back, voice of 916. Please call right back. I think it's somehow messed up the phone line. But Again, Mara Chase owns a lingerie company, beautiful lingerie. Make your man happy, make yourself happy, feel sexy. Go to her website and check out her lingerie, all right? And hook a sister up. If someone can please put the link to her website, one of the moderators inside the chat, so people can go check it out, please do so. And we will take this call. Is this the voice of 916? What happened?
Call from
Tomorrow.
to accept, press 1.
What's going on? You're rocking with the Don Tony Teflon. Who we talking to?
Tamara.
What's going on, Tamara? How's everything?
Everything is everything. Oh, look, this Changeling is deep. If you think about some of the things that they're talking about, like, for example, the internet, right?
Yep.
By posting pictures of the baby on the internet. And then here it is, when they created the website and everything, it's like Facebook, but it's another support group. The question is he the one that's stalking all the women? That's the question. Because not only was the woman, did he stalk the other woman also that was at the church?
Mm-hmm.
And remember, he was recording her.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, so he was aware who she was. He knew who she was, and he knew about the Changeling baby. He knew everything about her, right? So he was definitely recording her. He definitely went there for a reason, and he definitely was in on everything. I think the end game again was to get to this island. They want to get to this island, him and his people, to kill everybody there.
That is correct. The last thing I want to say, if you notice him saying that he had been circling, trying to find the island, but could not.
Yep.
And it wasn't until he put the string back on his finger, and once it went under the bridge, they went through like a portal, a whole nother destination. And then the question is the portal still open? Will the other trolls be able to come and fairies come in? And will they get to all the other children on the island? That's the question.
Yeah, so we talked about this a little bit earlier, and we tried to figure out exactly why he was able to get to the island. And we said when he took his ring finger or his wedding ring off, put that string around his finger, that's when all of a sudden we were able to get there. So that string has to have some type of power into it. Would it still be open is the key. I think it has to be in order for the show to make it work, right? Because we seen that when he was on the beach, they said he was waving his phone in the sky, right? And everything. Mm-hmm. And then she immediately, she shut the phone down and broke the phone when she got the phone. So I think
that's crazy. I
think it has to work like that. I think it has to be there. And now they have like the coordinates or whatever, and they're going to be able to find that place. And I think that we might see a massacre next episode or the one after. Something bad is going to happen.
Yeah, I think so. It's deep. I don't know how many times you watched it, but I've watched it 4 times.
Which one?
Okay.
The last episode?
Because yes, because there's so many clues. They got her looking like she's a ghost, but she's not a ghost. Mm-hmm. Okay. She is still a human being. All right. Has she been mesmerized in some type of way? No, she's trying not to go out of her mind due to the fact that her baby was a changeling and nobody was believing her. So when he was sitting down in church and the woman was saying the exact same thing that she was saying, it was like, oh my God, what is happening? My wife was telling the truth. So he was borderline, okay, do I believe everything? And I can't believe how gullible he is about William. And the question I asked you about the shirt, the wife, Greta, looks like she has the exact same shirt on mm-hmm. that was in the picture in the phone. So the question is, and William said it, don't let them glamorize you. So are they both playing Apollo? That's the question.
I got to go back and look and see that and everything else. I don't know if they're both. I think this is his game, and I think that when it's all said and done, you know what I mean. It was his scheme to get to that island and everything else. Yeah, especially Cal said, straight up that Emma told her that he was going to come, and that there would be no stopping him. And when he came there, but she goes, I didn't think that you would bring somebody with you. When you did come in there and everything else. But you're definitely on to something.
That's because he's a god. He's a god. That's why.
You think that
he's a god. He didn't know.
God.
Almost definitely. Remember, they said he was an atheist. She said, my husband is an atheist, right? But as you stated earlier, when his head went into the water and he was reborn again, the light was shining. That was a way of his powers or something that was within. And who's to say that his father was a changeling? What if it's his mom? Something is definitely going on with the mom, because whoever she killed that was in that red suitcase is at the bottom of the water.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's what's inside.
Yeah, I think it's the father that's locked up in there. Me personally, but the mom being a change, I just don't. We haven't seen women yet. Not saying it's not possible. But we haven't seen where it's usually men right now. I'm going to lean that she's a witch more than anything. I'm going the witch side with her, that she's a witch, and that the father was an elf, was an elf, and I think that's the way.
Elf fairy, you think?
Yeah, a fairy. I think he was a fairy. The father was a fairy. I hate saying it. Sounds so crazy. I don't mean it that way.
I know, but I know exactly what you meant. But it's like, dude, keep doing what you're doing, Teflon. I appreciate you allowing me to be on. I'm going to continue to keep watching you, and let's continue to really dissect this, because there's definitely some parallels to what they were saying about pictures being posted on the internet and what we're doing. So there's a line that's being crossed of what we're doing in real life to what they're saying in the show.
I agree. I'm with you. And thank you for calling in. And call back anytime. We here. We here for that. You know what I mean? That's what we're
all right, dear. Take care.
All right. Peace out. And that is Tamara rocking with us and everything else. And, listen, voice of 916. I know you just tried to call in. It got a little wonky. Please call right back. We'd love to hear from you. I know you have something to say. Please call right back. But yeah, 100%. Teacup is Apollo half witch, half fairy? Yes, that's what I think he is. I think that is what he is. I don't know if he's a god, you know what I mean, but I think he is half fairy. Let's go, girl.
Call from
The voice at 916.
Hello, how are you?
Hello. I didn't want to interrupt your plug for Marquez, give a sister all the credit, give us all the information for her beautiful lingerie.
Oh, it is gorgeous.
And the last caller.
It is gorgeous.
The last caller was on point.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Let me know why you think that.
What? Marquesa?
No.
Her lingerie?
No.
The last caller? Oh, yes. Well, because she was talking about the metaphors that the showrunners are trying to show us through these supernatural creatures and what's actually happening in real life. How we invite everything and everybody into our personal life through the internet and social media, and wonder why bad things happen. So that was definitely a comment. But the reason I called was I wanted to comment on William. On a rewatch, I can't remember which episode. It was the episode in which William invited Patrice and Apollo onto the boat to buy the book. When they were in the car prior to going to the boat, William said something off the wall crazy, and they looked at him like, "What is he talking about?" He said, "Oh, just ignore me," and that kind of stimulated an idea to me that William, in his actual life, before he became kindergarten, felt powerless, ineffectual, impotent, all those negative things that a man could feel when he feels helpless in his life or doesn't have anything to offer the world. and we still don't know what happened to him on his job. Apparently, he must not be working because he doesn't have access to money. So something happened in his life that made him feel less than. And I think that has something to do with him not only investigating other people, but he put some of his stuff out there. And other men of like mind chimed in and started conversating with him online. So he found his crew. He found his like-minded folks. And I really don't think William is a troll. I think he's human. And I think because of his circumstances, he lost his mind and did some heinous things. And he grouped with a bunch of people who think like he does. That's what I think we'll come to find out about William. And that's the sad commentary that this type of community would develop, and they would do such terrible things because they feel so bad about their own lives.
All right. I hear what you're saying. I agree partly with it. I do think that he's a troll. I think they're gonna play up the fact that he was an internet troll who happens to be a real troll in real life. I think that all the trolls on the internet, they're trying to say all his people are trolls, the ones who have access to the networks and are able to do all the things with the computers and everything else. I think all going to be like a whole army of trolls. And I think that they're going to go there and try to wipe out all these witches that are on the island.
I think they're going to try that, but I think Apollo will, because I think the last time we saw it when William showed his face as kindergarten, Apollo was so shocked he, stepped back. I think he'll probably run back and tell Cal. Maybe
if he gets that chance, we got to see exactly where they pick up the next episode that he'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
She already knows who he is. Like she said that the death of him was going to be by fire, and I think that that's a reason why she's picked that. You know what I mean? Like she could have just killed him, shot him, and left him up. But she's like, "We're going to set you on fire, but we're going to wait for your wife to come because we know that she's going to want to do this to you." You know what I mean? Because she was like, "I was already thought about this burning you right now, but instead we're going to just put you there." And I think obviously that is how witches was killed back in the day, when they had witch trials and everything. And, and a lot of the people who came from Norway back then, and that whole story is true with the boat and everything else. But a lot of them wound up in Massachusetts, and a lot of them did go over there to Salem and stuff. And they were going, spreading at that time, they were spreading a different language. I mean, a religion. And the religion that they were spreading, you would get hung, harbored one of them in there, and you kept seeing if you did it 3 times. And so, but I think they're taking a spin on that religion that they were spreading, and really saying that they were spreading either witchcraft or the trolls eating kids, one or the other. It's going to be now. Because now I don't know. All these people from Norway may just be maybe trolls. These Norway people.
Well, we know he's some kind of troll.
There's no
Whether
doubt.
he's a human troll or a troll, we know he's a troll.
There's no doubt about it.
Oh, my goodness. And the last thing that I'd like to bring up, when we talk about changelings, and it seems that all of the changeling babies are male, I wonder if that has something to do with the fact that a changeling being a female would mean that changeling might be able to reproduce. And maybe that's not possible, that breeding, maybe crossbreeding is not possible. So the babies are always male.
It could be. It could be.
I don't know. I think it has something to do with something that girl children who will grow up would be able to reproduce, or their physiology wouldn't allow them to live, and so they would not, steal girl babies, because it just doesn't make sense for them. Now, another question I had asked, though, before we go,
Yep.
is if William is a troll, is he wanting to just kill babies? Does he want to steal babies? Does he want to take babies somewhere else, do something else? What is his purpose?
Yeah, we have to figure out exactly how his daughter died. And, you know, as someone pointed out, like he could have eaten his daughter. They say that trolls, I guess, eat children too. So did he eat it? Did he eat the daughter when he found out who he was? It could be a situation like that. We don't know. But it really comes down to what he did to that girl. And we have to find that out. That would exactly how he killed her.
So if the men coming with him are also trolls, are they just coming to eat all the kids?
Yeah. And to wipe out the witches, I think, too. Because if a troll is a form of fairy, then some of those changeling babies might be theirs.
That's true. But that only means if they can breed. Maybe the reason they steal is because they can't breed.
Yeah, it could be.
This particular type of fairy. Yeah. Anyway, there's just so many questions. My head hurts. But so I hope it didn't sound all convoluted. I had it written out before I called.
No, it was perfect. It was perfect. Thank you so much for calling in, and we love hearing from you. You know, you're a part of this channel. It wouldn't be the same without you.
Oh, that's sweet of you to say, Tony. And thank you for taking the call. And let's continue this family. Let's grow. Let's keep it moving.
No doubt about it.
Yeah. Thanks again, Tony. Stay safe.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That's the voice of 917. I know someone was trying to call in, but you can call back now. I don't take calls while I'm on the phone with somebody. It's kind of rude and everything else. There they are. Let's take this call. This is from 614.
Call from
Eli.
To accept, press 1.
What's going on? You're rocking with the Don Tony Teflon. Who this?
Hey, this is Eli. What's going on, Tony?
What's going on, man?
Not much, brother. So I got a couple questions / theories that I want to share out there.
Let's do it.
So I was thinking about Apollo, and I think Apollo actually might be a god. I know they emphasized it a lot in the earlier episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Like he kept saying in every episode, Apollo the god, Apollo the god. And then when Cal had him in the dungeon or whatever they were in, she said that. She said the only person that I believe could actually find us would be a god. So just putting that into context, and then also going back to what the pastor said about, it was, certain things. I feel like this show doesn't waste time with scenes that they put in there. Mm-hmm. And when she was talking to when Emma was talking to the pastor, she told him that he was atheist. And he referred and basically said, I don't want to misquote it, but basically along the lines of, an event or something like that can have a spiritual awakening. And honestly, I feel like with Apollo having that type of they keep leaning in that type of direction for him, I feel like he may be the only one that can actually save the baby at the end of the day. Because I do feel like there is the baby that is still alive, even though that we've seen the devil baby. We don't know that the baby's actually dead. That they didn't. I know they said it was a lot of blood, but I don't know if they ever actually said that they recovered a body. I don't know. I have to go back and double check.
The changeling there would have had to, because they buried something, right? Because they said go to the grave. So I would assume that they found the baby dead. I'm assuming that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Assume. Yeah. But I just think that they are hinting towards that, and I honestly think that his dad or his mom maybe knew, because his dad leaving that book behind him and it being something so special to him. Mm-hmm. I feel like that his dad knew, and I maybe I'm jumping too crazy, but I feel like his dad maybe felt like that may be a threat to him, so he had to leave. Him and his mom, they knew what was going on or something along the lines, and she had to do what she had to do and chopped his head off and put it at the bottom of the river. But honestly, I feel like his dad knew that Apollo had that in his blood, and something was going to eventually, come out of that, whether good or bad for his dad. So I just think that Apollo actually may be the savior for, what's going on for between these two, the trolls and the witches and everybody else. I feel like Apollo may be actually like the one that maybe sets it in the middle and, finds that common ground, either whether he sides with one side or he just stops the whole thing.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's like a big part, because they keep feeding that to us, that Apollo is a god, and then like little things like that. And then the little girl finding, like, I know the little girl kept tripping. I know it's like, minor, but honestly, with them not having any men on the island and her taking so keen to him so quickly, I feel like that's like a little telltale sign also, like he has greater power than we actually understand.
Yeah, I think so. To try to unpack everything you said there real quick, if I can. As for the God situation, and he may be, I don't know if he's a god. I think that he was named because his dad, they went to the Rocky movie. He wanted to name him Rocky, but the mom was like, "You can't name my black baby no damn Rocky." And he said, "Well, I'm Apollo." So I think that's why he got that name. I think that I think what he is he's both. He's a fairy and he's a witch. The mom was a witch, the dad was a fairy. So he's like if they've been at war for years, he would be that West Side Story baby, right? Of the people who've been fighting together, the proof that a union between them can happen. And he's on both sides of the world. He's down with them, and he's got both of their blood in his body. So that is the reason why he's right in the middle of everything. I think it's more of that and everything. And I thought that when she said that was more not satire, but because he's always, this is the dude's line, "I am the god Apollo." How do you use that on a date and the chick's still with you? I don't know. Because I know if I was with
for sure, and
I just threw down, "I'm the god Zeus," that chick would be like, "All right, nigga, I'll talk to you later."
Yeah, she's like, "Yeah, go ahead.
I gotta go."
Definitely understood. But I mean, honestly, I agree with you on the naming of how it happened, but I just don't think this show wastes scenes. Honestly, I don't think nothing in this show is said out of place or just put in there. Certain shows just have little scenes where they run it over. I just don't feel like this show has that in there. I feel like every little detail matters. And then also with the guy with the photography, I want to know what's going on with him, because just seeing him like that, I just don't understand. I'm kind of lost. It kind of confuses me on what who he is or what role he has, because honestly, that's the sign that she did was the demonic sign, the as above, so below type thing. So it's kind of like, I don't know if he induced that, like he knew, because perfect timing. He came literally out of nowhere when she just threw up her thumb, and he picked her up and took her to the middle of nowhere, and she got comfortable enough within, I don't know how long, it's time span is not accurate, but let's just say a couple hours. She got naked in a couple hours.
So let's break that out. Listen, if that chick throw her thumb up, I'm pulling over too. I mean,
oh yeah, for sure.
She could put a big toe up. I'm stopping. Like, she jumping with you with me, girl. I got you. Right. I also think that he wanted to take a picture. Like he wanted that. Like, because the first thing when they did their walking and they finally stopped, he said, "Is it okay?" And she was like, "Nah, it's not." So his intention was to take her picture. He's seen her, beautiful woman. I'll take her picture somewhere, get this money and everything else. And if I could slay it too, I'll slay it too. Probably, you know what I mean? So that's why I think what's going on there. But I think that with the picture and everything, again, she's wearing the bracelet. And I think that bracelet is omitting some type of power from it. And that is why everyone got mesmerized.
I don't think that bracelet has the power, because honestly, when you think about it, when she was going into the place, she didn't have the bracelet on. Apollo broke it immediately. So her going back and forth to the island, she didn't have the bracelet on, so it didn't. Like, I get that Apollo put it on his finger and then it allowed, I don't know if that's what allowed him to go cross over, but I don't see the bracelet still honing any power after being broke. Because once the lady said once it's broken, that's when your dreams, your wishes come true. And I think at that point,
it wasn't. She said, "Don't cut it." Right. So there's two things specifically. She said, "Don't cut. Do not cut." When you cut it, I think that's when the bads are like. So say like you make a wish. I want $1 million. Now, if it naturally falls off your hand, you might get $1 million in your bank account. But if it's cut, then you're gonna get 1 million deer inside of your house, right? So I think
and I was telling my wife
what
that
she was
earlier.
saying, don't cut. If it would have just dropped off, it would have been all right. But the fact that he cut it off is now you get the bad side of the wish.
And then that goes back to my Apollo line, because he said that at the time of cutting that, I am Apollo the god, and cut it. I'll make all your wishes come true.
He's smelling himself too
much. Oh my, this show, honestly, I know I've been rambling. I appreciate you for letting me be on here and taking up your guys' time. But this show honestly is amazing, bro. I've literally been waiting for this episode to drop, and I watched it. I'm glad I got on here. I subscribed to you. I think you were talking about From not too long ago, and I subscribed to your channel, man. Every time I get on here, it gives me way more insight, because I be in my head scratching in the bed, asking my wife 1,000,001 questions to a show she ain't never watched. So I get on here and I love it, man. I love it. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I know it's probably other people calling in, bro, but I just want to say thank you, and God bless everybody that's watching, and God bless.
Nah, thank you for calling in. I really appreciate it. Remember, we're your tribe, man. We're your tribe. We feel exactly the same way you feel, and we're here to discuss all this out and get everything out there, and that's what it's going to be. Definitely call back, man. I truly appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I can't wait for season 3 of From. Everybody, if y'all ain't watching that, y'all need to check up on season 1.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Yes, sir. All right, brother.
All right. Peace. Yeah, we're live to Don Tony Teflon in here and everything else, and we rocking with it. Let me say what. First, let me give a shout out to my man 50 Girls Fernandez T, who gave us our first super chat of the night. Probably the only one too. I truly appreciate you. Any aliens in this one? Everyone got jokes, right? You got jokes, Fernandez. You got jokes, but but no, there are no aliens in this one. Not in this one. No aliens at all in this one, but in From there are. So he's talking about From it is aliens. This is witches. And From, they thought that it was fairies there. It's not. This is the show that has that. Got another call coming through right now. Let's take this real quick.
Call from
the Prince of Flies.
To accept, press.
What's going on, KP? The Prince of Flies this time.
Listen. I just wanted to call in to just make one last little point. From the name of the show, The Changeling, we know that this child, there's something special about this changeling child. And I wanted to go back to what I think the actual issue that the folklore actually addresses is. Because in the chat, we were talking about like African and other non-Western societies being matriarchal and bloodlines flowing through women.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody made a comment saying, yep, down with the patriarchy, which I'm sure they meant as a joke, right? But I think that's exactly the point of this show. That the matriarchy and patriarchy work together, and when one is weak, they're both weak. So the fact that there's this set of women witches that are trying to hold back evil, but there's not one man with them that's working with them,
mm-hmm.
is the main thing that makes them vulnerable, and it's the thing that allows them to be massacred and to be hurt. And what's happening in the story, I think, is they're creating that male character that would be the lion in the pride of lionesses. Whether that character is actually Apollo or it's his son, because to me, Apollo is that person who is going to come into this matriarchal lioness pride and be their lion and protect them against his own son.
Okay.
Because ain't nothing good about that child.
So you're saying that Apollo is the lion protecting all these female witches against the elves, or the fae?
Against the elves, and specifically the elf that is pretending to be his son, because ain't nothing good about that child. So if he's protecting them, his child, or what actually probably really is his child, is a changeling child that probably has no kind of blood relation to him, but he is playing the role of his child. That child is going to be the leader of the elves, and he's going to have to be there to protect the world, including the matriarchy, from having this overly masculine force take them over and push them all the way to the other side into a place that is even more chaotic than it is now.
All right.
What are your thoughts on that?
I can dig it. I think that his child is special in the way that the bloodline that it has, the fact that he is,
correct,
the fact that he is, I think both makes the child the same, the both like him, So I think they want that child because that child is special. They don't plan on eating his child. That child's a special bloodline. Maybe his child does become the king of the fairies or something like that. We don't know how it goes. How what their system is. What the system is there for them. And I'm sure it's not a government. I'm sure it's some type of king, some shit. But his son could be, the chosen one, or that
that side.
Huh?
Correct. Yeah, he's the chosen one of the elves of the other side, and he could spell the end of if you're talking about the secret invasion happening, it won't be no more secret. It's okay. The invasion has happened. It's done. Everybody realizes it, and they're in control. There might be a couple regular people still in the mix, but they know that they have been conquered.
Yeah, and you know what I'm going to say that maybe people haven't picked up on, but I'm going to say I'm put this in my next video too, so you'll see it. But when you see him walking with Cal, right, and they're walking through the woods in there, or whatever if you want to call them woods or whatever they were, you could see that there's a bunch of windows just laying around there. Like every time you see a window laying up against a tree and another window laying up against a tree, to me, these windows are there to show that there's a different world that you can walk through you can look through by looking through the window, and that's why they put those windows there in that by those trees, because it's a different world that you can look through if you look through the window correctly. Because right when she says that you're going to have to open up your eyes and see what there really is to see if you want to go and find out.
Yeah, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. It even also makes sense as to why he was able to actually find the place, because he is one of them, and he's a witch, and he's a so perhaps only witches can find this place, but because of that bloodline that's within him from his mother and his father, he has as much witch as fairy, and so he's able to find it just as another witch would have been able to. And so that says something. And there's just to switch laws quickly, just real quick. In Dune, the whole book is about the idea of the Kuzak Tararak, the man who the one who shortens the way, and the one who shortens the way has to be male, because there was the women who are witches. These witches have generational memory, so they don't just know themselves. They know all their mothers and their mothers' mothers and their mothers' mothers' mothers, go all the way back to the first Bene Gesserit. But what they don't have access to is the male memory. And in fact, in the stories, it says even the idea of having access to the male memory gives them terror. But they're going to try to make this boy child who is able to do what they can do and is able to see into the male future. And that is what will make him special, and we'll have him on our side, and we will be the most powerful group. There's so much, that story has so much prescience and so much presence in this same story, because these women are looking for a Quasar Cataract, somebody to point the way for them to go to, because they know just running around hiding is no sustainable state, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they need a defender, and I think Emma's goal, or the purpose of Emma, was to find the defender and bring him in. And now we have this other lady, I forget the white lady's name, but now her purpose is to convince him that all these weird things that happen in your life is because you are this particular special person, and because of that, you have to go and do a couple very difficult things. What do you think about that portion?
I like it. Especially the lady's name is Cal. I think that her name is Cal. She said it's short for Calista. Callisto. That's
like
that Greek, the Greek lady who was raped by Zeus, had a baby with Zeus, and then Zeus's wife got mad about that and everything else, so turned her into a bear. And then the son that she had with Zeus was a hunter, and he seen his mother as a bear, but didn't realize it was his mother and was about to kill her. And then Zeus took her and transported her before it could happen into the stars, and she became a constellation of stars. Also, dealing with that, she was the hunter of Apollo, the god Apollo's sister, too.
Oh,
yes, she.
Okay.
Yeah, she was a hunter of the god Apollo. Had a sister, and she was like considered one of her hunters and stuff.
Well, that's interesting. Like there's a lot of male needing the female needing the male energy in this TV show. It's like I don't know, maybe that's just me, but that's what I see. There's a lot of this idea that, you know, as men we can't do it alone, and as women we can't do it alone. It can only be through like finding that happy medium where we both share power, we both share influence, and we both share the rewards of this earthly existence. And you know, there's something fundamental about that ideal that is in the show, and I think there's something fundamental about like Afro-Caribbean folklore in general, because Afro-Caribbean folklore has a lot of strong female energy in it. It's like a lot.
No doubt.
And you know, it's like, and especially the idea of the temptress. You know, like there's one character called Aladia Black, and it's a woman, a very beautiful woman with a cow's foot. And sometimes in the night when you're driving, like she shows up at the side of the road, and she causes men to swerve and kill themselves when they're, you know, end up killing themselves when they're driving. There's that image of like the woman being like evil, and you have to beware of her. But then there's the other images of the mother of earth and the mother of provision, even the mother in the story of the mother as the wolf in the story of Romulus and Remus in Rome. Like the mother is that thing that edifies and strengthens and gives nutrition and allows men to actually go out there and do manly shit. There's something very, very much required from that female for males to even have the capacity to, you know, do these things they need to do on a daily basis. And that influence, because I'm not being long-winded, but I'm going to finish on this point. There's an idea that back in the day, where that is, a woman could not be queens, like a woman couldn't rule a country. Only a man could do that. But I don't know any man who has a wife that is not, at least 50% of the decisions that you make because of her influence. she pushes you one way or the other based on how her mood is and what her thoughts are on a particular thing.
Mm-hmm.
She pushes you in once to the next. So I want to say that the influence of the female, even if it is not the face of a hierarchy, it is always present, and it's always there, and we have to appreciate that. Probably that's something that as men we have to consciously learn to appreciate, because we don't want to think about these things. But in any event, that was it. That was me being long-winded and weird, and overly analyzing this thing. Because it feels like so many other stories that I love, like it feels like doing this. There's a portion of it that's in Game of Thrones and whatnot. Like it feels so very familiar as a story that it's like it just has connections to everything. Anyways, you guys have a good night, and I'll listen to your response on the TV when I hang up.
All right, brother, I appreciate it.
Keep it good, everybody. Good night from Trinidad and Tobago. Ciao.
Ciao. Trinidad and Tobago in the building, rocking with. Let me give a shout out to Teacup 08 for the super chat, super sticker. Truly appreciate any donation that you got for the boy. We truly appreciate it. Let me grab one more drink. We'll drink this drink and then we'll call it the end after I'm done with this drink. So let me grab it real quick and then we'll keep going. We're back here. We're back. And very interesting stuff that was being said by our boy KP. That's what I love about this community and everything else. Like we have people from all over the world, right, who have different perspectives, brought up differently, and know things that we don't know. So it's very interesting from hearing everything else out there from everybody else and all that. Again, Teacup Away, thank you so much. We truly appreciate the super chat that was sent by you. 100%, you know what I mean? For supporting the channel. It helps more than you know and everything else. Trying to make sure I didn't miss anything else that was here. Anything was sent to me privately as and we do call, keep coming. That's what I like. Call's coming. Let's go. This is 3, 2, 3.
Call from
HD from LA.
To accept, press 1.
What's going on, HP from LA? Rocking with the Don Tony Teflon.
Yo, what's going on with you, bro?
We chilling, man. What's going on, baby?
Hey, man, respect to you. I found you from the From show.
All right. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Much respect. So look, man, a couple things. I love the show, but they messed up a little bit with the last episode, contrary to belief.
Okay.
Because they led us, let me tell you why. They led us all the way up into this episode. They explained to us this episode. They explained to us what happened with her. When she got over there to the island, it became real anticlimactic, if you ask me.
Okay.
When they finally showed us what went down with the picture and everything. I mean, they explained all that real vividly. Second of all,
all right, so real quick, let's take that before you go into second point. I think that everything that we thought happened, right? We knew that she seen the lady first and then asked someone about it, then went back. We knew that. We dissected that, but we didn't have confirmation. I think they did it to give us confirmation of what was going on there, and that's why they showed that stuff that they.
You're 1,000% correct, but they didn't need to spend the whole episode giving us that confirmation. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
you
us
thought that it dragged because they showed all that.
Oh man, it hella dragged.
Okay.
It took way too long. I mean, come on, let's get to the point. Some of it, like it's only 3 episodes left. I don't see them really getting to some of the points that we need to get hit in this first season. Well, in my opinion,
if it's more than one season, then you're not going to get all the answers in one season. You know what I mean?
No. We don't need all the answers. I'm telling you, we're not even gonna get some of the answers we think we're gonna get this season. Like it's not even gonna happen. You could tell. There's a lot of things going on. a bunch of symbology and a bunch of like, let's say like the baptism.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? It's like a lot of stuff going on that's the undertone of how you are perceiving life, whether you're religious or whether you just have an overall understanding of different ethnicities and different cultures. You get what I'm saying? So they're playing you based on your upbringing, like how you looking at the show, but they know they can spin you any way they want to. So that's why it's like, it's the show. I love it, but I feel like they drag it. And then other than that though, it's just a lot going on to get into on this one call. I know you're trying to get off, but
no, you go ahead.
Everyone's from Norway that's connected to, of course, like the photographers and William and everything. They're clearly all from Norway. You get what I'm saying? And it has something to do with the folklore and all that good stuff, and the fairies and the witches. And like you said, they might both be. I mean, Apollo might be both a witch and a fairy. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, I think, from the beginning, because the opening scene is the boat from Norway coming to the shores of America, the first boat that ever came to America, which is a real thing that really happened. So it's definitely focusing on the Norwegian people and them landing in America and them having something to do with it. But I think that a point that no one's talking about a lot is that what was that damn monster that saved them, that helped them get
that saved the ship.
Yep.
Yeah. I think the homie whatchamacallit brought that up from that other page. I rock with him too. I think he noticed that from Real Enigmas and Theories.
Yeah, that's my man.
Yeah, I rock with him.
That's what it is. That's my man.
Yeah, I mean, just be prepared for them to drag out one whole episode about the moms, right? Just be ready, man. When I'm telling you, they could do all this in a couple minutes, man. Like, they don't need to make us keep, some of these stories need to prolong so we can get to the gist of it, so we can get back to the facts, because this is how they get you away from the understanding real fast, boss. This is how they get you away from it. They get you focusing on all these sub-characters when the juice and the understanding of the show is getting lost. That's what's going to end up happening eventually. I love the show. I know Lakeith in person. I know him in real life.
Right.
But, I represent it. I'm going to watch the show, but I'm just being a critic at the same time, because we got to have both eyes open.
Of course.
Like, come on, man. Let's get to the point.
Of course. I think that's what all shows do, right? Like, so they give you a little bit, but they give you something else to make it seem like to divert you away from it. So that way, when they spring it on you, it's like, oh, this is always here. If you would have been paying a little bit more closer attention, you would have seen that we already broke this stuff up. I think that a lot of shows use that. That thing.
That's what they're doing with the colors, the red and the blue. Like they're the red, the blue, and the white smoke. They're leading us on to. It's a lot that they haven't revealed yet, but if you look closer, you can tell it's just a battle against good and evil. Whether you're religious, whether you're not. It could be say, hey, whatever, which way you want to spin it. But it's really just good and evil going at it, and it's hidden within trolls and witches and shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But it's the same shit.
I feel you on that, man. I feel you on that.
Oh, yeah. I think William's daughter is Apollo's sister.
You think that William's daughter is Apollo's sister?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not saying on this realm, but somewhere along the little fairy tale realm that they live in. They related, because Apollo had a sister in real life. Well, in Greek mythology.
Yeah. So. All right. I feel you on that. We'll see if that's the case.
Yeah, but yeah, go ahead, man. Catch some callers before you get up out of here. I'll make sure I tap in with you on the next live.
I appreciate it, man.
All right.
Stay up.
All right, boss.
100. I appreciate the call. I think you make some interesting points. Listen. The way that shows are projected and everything else, I think you always get filler episodes, especially when you're dealing with 8 to 10 episode seasons. You're always going to get some few episode fillers and stuff that they could do. I mean, From is known for that, right? A lot of stuff From they showed us that a lot of people would say they didn't need to show us, but these writers they have to stretch out the episodes, because the reason is that the more episodes you have out, the more money you get. And that comes to the business side of the business, right? So I think that you have to get something like that and everything else. Vic says, I read it's only 8 episodes. I'm not sure about additional seasons. Maybe I read that. So it may be 8 episodes, but when I hear the actors and the showrunner talked about the show, they said season 1 specifically. They said in season one. So I'm thinking that it's going to be more than one season. And listen, Shaquille Robinson, thank you so much for the super chat. We truly appreciate it, man. It really blessings. You know what I mean? We appreciate you know what I mean, for putting out there. We truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. So much. It helps more than you know. It really works. We don't make no money on this on YouTube. We don't make no money, so thank you. We truly appreciate it. And welcome to the family, everybody who's been out there and everything else. You know what I mean? But I 100% understand. And listen, if you hear from you, I love that show from. But I'll be the first one to tell you that some drag on it. Another call here. Listen, this is from 443.
Call from
Chris.
To accept, press
All right,
1.
we'll
To send a
take it.
voicemail, press 2.
What's going on, Chris? You're rocking with the Don Tony Teflon.
Hey, what's good, man? Shout out to you. Love all the work you do, man. Came over from. Definitely loving the Changeling.
I appreciate it. What's good, baby?
So I'm hearing everybody saying they think it's a body in that suitcase.
Mm-hmm.
But the more that I'm watching or rewatching the other episodes, I'm thinking that his mom did whatever, is it Emma?
Yep.
Did when she got the bag full of change.
Okay.
And I don't know exactly what it is that she did. Maybe she killed Brian instead of killing the baby. But I just found it weird that, Emma got a bag full of change and she had to do something terrible where she might have actually killed a baby, but maybe Apollo's mom, she might have killed Brian instead of actually killing the baby, because I just don't see a body being in that suitcase.
I feel you. So
it's hard for me to believe that she put a full body in that suitcase.
I think if it is a body, so let's try to unpack it a little bit. I think that when you deal with the chain situation, would she have been able to actually overpower this dude and wrap him in those chains? Is what I'm saying. Like when Apollo got wrapped up in those chains, I think he was asleep when she did that to him. You know what I mean? So
Right.
It seems like to me that she caught the pops in the act trying to kidnap Apollo, and then she reacted from it then. So I don't know if she would have had the ability to wrap him up in chains. Now, as for the body being in there, two ways to look at it in my perspective. Number one, if you look at that journalist, what was his name? That was talking shit about the Iranians from America. They put his ass in the suitcase, right? He went to the embassy over there in real life. He went to the embassy over there, and they sent someone over there, and they chopped him up and put him in that suitcase. And the way you can dissect the body, it's physically possible to fit a body up in there. But besides that, we are also dealing with magic, because Apollo, when he gets the visions of his father, it says in the chat, and when you look at the closed captions, it says "free me" or "save me" on there. You know what I mean? So I think she may have put a spell on him to put him inside there, and that's why he would be locked up in there.
I feel you on that one. I'm not even gonna argue with that. I'm not gonna argue with that. I think it's definitely something.
It could be the chains, though. Listen, you're right. When I hear the chain theory, whatever we know that shit was heavy, right? Because she was dragging that shit, and we did see her dragging those chains. So them chains was heavy, so it could be. I'm not saying that it's not, but I'm saying it could be. Without doubt.
The only thing that was kind of getting me off of like the father being killed and being in there, I think like some type of magic happened with this guy, or he's involved in something, because if he got killed, maybe it would be like his spirit, possibly, but I don't know. It just seems like the dad definitely had something going on with him. Like he comes back with the blue face.
Yep.
It just seems too. I don't know. It's too much. It's too much in the character that they built up. Or I guess him with the blue face and consistently coming to see him to make me think he just got chopped up and put in a suitcase.
Well, you got her face back then is beat up, like she got into a fight.
Yeah, it was definitely a scuffle. That's what makes me think she had some type of a scuffle trying to do whatever she did.
Yeah, so
like,
would she have been able to overpower him and wrap his ass up in them chains? Because the chains at that particular time, from what we seen they were used for, They were used to prevent Apollo from allowing her, so Emma could do what she had to do. And then she got those chains from another lady. So I think that's the thing. You're gonna have to wrap your husband up in these chains so you can kill this baby, because your husband might try to stop you from doing it.
I definitely think that's what the chains are for. Could she overpower him? I mean, that's an African sister. We gotta keep it real. She got hands, bro.
I ain't trying to tell you she don't. I ain't trying to tell you she don't. I no doubt about it. You know what I mean? Straight up. You know, I've done seen black women beat the shit out of men my whole life growing up, especially in junior high school and all that. When you know, junior high school and elementary school, we about equal. You know what I mean? And I just see black women beat the shit out of men. You know what I mean? Straight up. Even when they get older. So yeah, I feel you on that 100%. You know what I'm saying? 100% on that. But it could be, and I would never tell anybody that it's not the change. Whatever it is, it's heavy as fuck, and it has to come back. Like, they didn't put that; they put that in the beginning of the show. They show that,
right?
So it's coming back. But the fact that his father says to him in the dreams, "It's either save me or free me," makes me think he's inside that damn thing, and that's what he's asking for. That he's down there. He's in that suitcase.
I'm following you on that one. Definitely could be. I mean, I think they're definitely doing a good job with this season. I'm not gonna lie. They kind of had me feeling like they were going from season 2, where they were just gonna drag everything out forever.
Mm-hmm.
But they definitely picked it up. This is probably the best episode in my opinion so far. The last one, it almost lost me when Apollo got jumped when he showed up at the deck.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they baptized him in the water, I'm like, all right, they might be losing me with this one, but they kind of saved that episode. But I think this one was definitely the best episode so far.
Yeah, I liked it. I know a lot of people may say drag, and I know a lot of people probably want more action and stuff like that, but this is my type of show. You know what I mean? So I liked every episode. I think this last episode was great too.
Yeah, definitely, man. First time calling in. I just wanted to call in. Definitely appreciate everything from, and man, you keeping it rolling with this one. So salute, bro.
I appreciate it, man. Call back anytime, brother. Call back.
Absolutely.
All right, one. You know that people talking about what the Smurfs are actually 4 apples tall, right? So when y'all be thinking about Smurfs, don't be thinking like Smurfs are small. They're 4 apples tall, a Smurf, right? All right, I understand that. Thank you for the super chat from Serene Divine 23. Says, did Brian try to kill Apollo as a kid? I don't think he tried to kill him. I think he tried to take him. I think he wanted to take him out of there. You know what I mean? I think he wanted to get him out of there and everything else, and he wanted to kidnap him and swap him out for a fairy so he could raise him. Next, Tamara Allen, thank you for the super sticker. Truly appreciate it, beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Waylon, I guess he's the Smurf man, says, please don't mean to reference Smurfs for the money. No, I'm not. I'm saying you reference Smurfs. I'm just letting you know that Smurfs, how big a Smurf actually is, because, you know, I know I like Smurfs. That's kind of like my generation when I was a kid and the Smurfs came out, right? So I know that's exactly how big the Smurfs are. And Smurfs also Gargamel was trying to eat those motherfuckers. It wasn't like Gargamel wanted to kill the Smurfs just to kill him. Gargamel wanted to eat them. He was trying to eat these Smurfs. He said them shits tasted good, those damn Smurfs. He wanted to eat them shits. God damn it, Gargamel. He wanted to eat the Smurfs and all that. But yeah, so, you know, when dealing with the show, again, there's a lot of layers to this show, and we'll see in the end what pans out and everything else like that. It's like the Smurfs are Changeling. They could be. Oh, they could be. He was trying to eat it, but everything else. What do you mean Smurfette was? No, leave Smurfette alone. I ain't even trying to hear that. I don't. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I don't believe that she was. and everything else. I love Smurf. I think it's a baby changeling in the suitcase. She killed him just like Emma killed the brain. It could be. It could be he was trying to swap him out at that particular time. She killed the father, and then seeing the baby, killed that baby and dumped it on the bottom of the river. Like, it could be. It could be, no doubt about it. Could be, because he wouldn't have just been able to take the baby and her not know of it. But the swap he may have done. But again, it seems like in changeling lore, this happens when they're babies, right? When they're young. You don't really hear about it happening when they're that old. You know what I mean? Usually in the lore, it's a baby that gets swapped out. It's not like he was big. He was watching cartoons and sitting up. So it could be a situation like that. Yes, you're correct, Fernandez T. See, you're correct on that. They were sweating Smurfette too, boy. Papa Smurf was even feeling Smurfette. I mean, that's how hot Smurfette was. Papa Smurf was like, I might be your old girl, but my blue is still dark. Is it funny that the Smurfs are, maybe that's why they made the fucking Viagra blue. Who knows? Who knows? Waylon says, I love the show, but I want to know where they're getting this lore. I think they're getting it from, Greek mythology mostly. And again, the changeling, it's in every culture. As we had KP come on and talk about Trinidadian culture where the Trinidadian culture has changelings in them. And I think we had someone else come in here and talk about not Creole, but the hoodoo culture has them and everything else in there too. So it's in every culture, these changelings, and it's how they explain certain things and everything. Teacup says, why is Apollo mom so hesitant to tell him the truth, especially after all that happened to him? She's holding too many, and that's why I think she killed the father. The father's in the suitcase, because nothing else. If she said to him straight up, listen, your father tried to swap you out with another baby that is really a changeling, yada, yada, and steal you from me, he may not believe it, but I don't think he would get mad at her. But if she says to him, I had to kill your father and throw his ass inside of a suitcase in the river, he would get upset then. As we seen her get upset because why didn't you let me have a relationship with my father? Why didn't you do? And he was upset. So I think that's what it is. That's why I'm telling you, in the end, it's going to be the pops up in that suitcase, man. He's going to be in there. You're going to see it. Luna, you should just call in. You got a lot to say, Luna. You should call in. What can we theorize about Emma, where Emma is? Could that show post it? Yeah, I think that's exactly where she is exactly in this show poster. You see behind me, can I pull up a better shot of it? I don't know if I have that shot. It would be that's the background, it would be an overlay shot. Do I have an overlay shot of that? I think so. Not of that one, but I do have this one. But again, when you look at the overlay shot, you see him falling from what appears on the top to be the real world into the forest, right? And I think that's what it is, that he's coming from the real world, falling from the real world into the forest, and that's where she is. She's in the forest of the elves land. She's there with the elves, and she's rocking there. That's why Cal is trying to prepare him for where he has to go and what he's going to see while he's in that world. And I don't know how much, especially if they're going to do a couple of seasons, we see in that land. We may see him find her in that land, but I think that would be it. I don't know if they'll see him find her and then they find the baby and escape and get out. I don't think they're gonna show all that. You may just see him find her in that land, and that may be how season 1 ends. And then after that, you'll have to go into something. Then we'll wait for season 2, and they both will be searching for the baby, and he's gonna see the world from there, and the world, what's going on there in that land. Again, I think of it like Harry Potter, right? Harry Potter is in the real world, but if you're a magician, there's certain things that are happening that you have privy to that the normal person isn't. And I think that's exact same thing going on in there. Champagne says she left message about the forest. She's looking for baby Brian. Yeah, she went in there looking. As she said, I love my baby more than anything. I give my life. And she also said, I give my husband's life for my baby, right? She didn't leave that motherfucker out. She could have left him out of the whole situation, right? But she put him right in there. I give my life and my husband's for my baby, all right? I take my husband out. And I don't think that's a throwaway line. I think that's very intentional. You know what I mean? That they put in there, that line in there, that she's willing to give her life and a husband's life for that baby. I don't think that's just, but in the end, she agreed to make these wishes for her life. So will she really be saved in the end when it's all said and done? And will that still be happening? And Waylon asking, what was the third wish? Go watch my video on the 3 wishes. I say exactly what the third wish is in that video. It's right there on the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Go watch that video. We talk about the third wish in that video. And all that. All right, we're going to start wrapping this up. It seems that we have been on here for 2.5 hours. That is a good time to call it a day. I want to thank everybody for rocking with us. If you want me to do another stream before, you know what I mean, the episode airs, let me know. I think I may have time to pull that off, maybe a Thursday stream, and we can speculate about the episode before it jumps off. Just let me know. If y'all, you can hit me up on Teflon TV on Facebook or in the comment section if you want me to do that, and I'll see it. And if you get enough comments and people want me to come back on, if not, then we'll do another live stream every Monday. We'll be back here to break down another live stream and everything else. Thank you for everyone who sent the super chat. Thank you for anyone who subscribed, and thank you for anybody who hit that like button, man. We had over 150 people here, and I truly appreciate it. Let's just keep going and everything else and keep growing. And if you like the way I do this, please. It's hard to do a pre-show. It's hard. We'll do a pre-show. We could do it like Thursday. Try to do an exact pre-show because it airs different times on Apple on Friday. But maybe a Thursday pre-show and we could talk about it and everything else. I'm definitely with that. So let me know in the comment section if you're down with it. And if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up to spread this across the realm. And of course, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.